Hello, welcome to this channel. This is video number 4 of the Peter Obi final address, which is in response to the defense submitted by Bola Tinubu last week. I have separated the 4 grounds for which Peter Obi and the Labour Party are asking for the nullification and the disqualification of Bola Tinubu as president into 5 separate videos. The first video is based on the $460,000 court fine in the alleged drug and money laundering related offenses. Video number 2 is focused on the failure of INEC to electronically transmit election results and other failed processes. And video number 3 is on Bola Tinubu's failure to score 25% vote in Abuja FCT. This is video number 4. In the final video number 5, which will be out sometime next week, I will tie everything together in one video for those who like to watch the whole thing in one stretch. I have said in previous videos that my goal in putting the work to properly and meticulously analyze these videos is to make the issues accessible and easy for everyone to follow. This is the only way we can tell if the tribunal meets our expectation with their final judgment. Okay, let's get started. On this issue, Peter Obi and the Labour Party commenced their case by saying that Bola Tinubu was not qualified to contest the election. This is because, as they said, his vice presidential candidate, Kashim Shettima, held a double nomination at the time of the election. Since the ticket for the presidency is a joint ticket, the double nomination invalidates the candidacy of Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima in the election. Peter Obi and the Labour Party made the argument that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended makes it mandatory that every presidential candidate must nominate a vice presidential candidate. To that effect, Section 142 of the Constitution, subsection 1, provides partly as follows. A candidate for an election to the office of president shall not be deemed to be validly nominated unless he nominates another candidate as his associate from the same political party for running for the office of president, who is to occupy the office of vice president, and that candidate shall be deemed to have been duly elected to the office of vice president if the candidate for an election to the office of the president who nominated him as such associate is duly elected as president. Basically, the ticket of the presidential candidate is only valid if he or she nominates a vice presidential candidate. Peter Obi told the court that Bola Tinubu made the nomination of Kashim Shettima on July 14, 2022, while Kashim Shettima was still the senatorial candidate of the APC for Bola Senatorial District. This was clearly a contravention of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, as well as the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, its manuals, guidelines, and regulations. Now, that is the basis of the aspects of this petition. Let's see how Peter Obi and the Labour Party attempted to demolish the case law under which Bola Tinubu and the APC rested their defense on this particular issue. Peter Obi's legal team argued that Tinubu, Shettima, and the APC cannot hide under the Supreme Court decision in PDP versus INEC and others, because the focus of that case was whether another political party who is not an aspirant can challenge the nomination of a party in a pre-election matter. The court ruled against PDP in that case, as the answer was no to that question. But Peter Obi and the Labour Party's case is not pre-election, it is post-election. The presidential election has come and gone, so they do have local standi, that is, have the right to pursue this case, unlike the PDP did in 2022. In Bola Tinubu's final address, they made reference to the fact that the date on Kashim Shettima's withdrawal letter to INEC was July 6, 2022. However, the Labour Party said this cannot be the effective date since Kashim Shettima signed the INEC senatorial election notice of withdrawal form on July 15, 2022. That is a day after he accepted the nomination. So, until July 15, 2022, Kashim Shettima remained in the records of INEC as the senatorial candidate of the APC from Bola Central Senatorial District. He could not validly have accepted the nomination for the position of vice presidential candidate under Bola Tinubu before July 15, 2022. Peter Obi and the Labour Party noted that the facts before the court is that it was on July 14th, not 15th, that Kashim Shettima signed the form with the officials of INEC. Let that sink in for a second. So essentially, what Peter Obi and the Labour Party are saying is that at the very moment Kashim Shettima officially accepted the nomination for the position of vice presidential candidate under Bola Tinubu, he was still in the records of INEC as the senatorial candidate of the APC for Borno Central Senatorial District. They are saying that these facts were not considered by the Supreme Court in that case between PDP and INEC, which Bola Tinubu is relying on. In that case, the Supreme Court ruled that PDP have no ground to pursue the case because they were not members of the APC and that it was still a pre-election matter, as I noted above. Therefore, it does not make sense for Bola Tinubu in his final defense to use that case as precedent. I hope you understand what's going on here. Let me explain a little bit. The Supreme Court did not rule on the merit of the case or the facts of the case when they ruled against PDP for bringing the case to court. They only ruled on whether PDP have a right to bring the case to court, and the court said they did not. The only people who could have done so at that time, since it was an internal party issue, would have been members of the APC. And obviously, as we all know, the PDP are not members of the APC. The Supreme Court basically said the matter did not concern the PDP. But now, the pre-election season is over and the elections are over. A president has been declared, and by so doing, the matter becomes the matter for all the political parties that contested in that election, which the Labour Party is prominently one of them. So now they have a right to bring the case to the tribunal. That is why the tribunal agreed to entertain the case in the first place. A prominent legal precedent for this case is the case in Bayelsa State, in which the Supreme Court sacked the governor-elect of Bayelsa State, David Leon, and his deputy, Bio Barakuma Degi Eremiyo. In that case, listed as PDP versus Bio Barakuma Degi Eremiyo 2020, the court, in a unanimous decision by a 5-person panel of justices led by Justice Mary Odile, held that Degi Eremiyo presented a forged certificate to INEC. It is important to know that it was not the governor but his deputy that committed the offense, but they were both sacked because it was a joint ticket. That is why Peter Obi and the Labour Party have the ground to ask the tribunal to remove Bola Tinubu on the alleged violation of the law by his vice president, Kashim Shettima. I believe this is a clear case. However, I do believe it is the weakest of all the cases brought to the court by Peter Obi and the Labour Party. If the tribunal can summon the courage to remove the president, they have stronger grounds to remove him. If you want to know what those grounds are, watch videos 1 to 3 of this series of Peter Obi's final address against Bola Tinubu's defense at the tribunal. The links to these videos will be in the description below. That's it from me, guys. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, share, and like this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video, in which I will put everything together. Bye for now.